Hello everyone, this is Greyshot17, and today I'm going over the Company of Heroes 3 news that just came out. This IGN article is going over the campaign map, essentially for the Italian campaign. For those who don't know, again, for Company of Heroes 3, there are two campaigns. There is the Dock, which is your standard single-player mission campaign, and then there's going to be the Italian campaign. That's the one that is going to have the strategic map layer on it that is going to be similar to games like Total War. Now, IGN put a video on it that's showcasing the map and what they've changed from the pre-alpha, etc. So I do want to go over it. I find them interesting. And again, hopefully you do too. If you do, please like and subscribe. It really does help. And if you would check out the original video, I'll also leave that down below. But some highlights that I was able to pull from this video and to relay to all of you. First up is the regiment system. For those who don't know, and Remy probably remembers this a lot, in Co 3 there was the regiment system, which was in the pre-alpha a bunch of smaller units that we would control with a company. Now, while a company you could customize to have all sorts of abilities or upgrades, such as this. You have the Indian Artillery Company, right? And they have, again, unit upgrades. They have bonuses and abilities that you can give them. Here's the problem, right? The problem was the regiments didn't have any of this. They were essentially small units that could still capture territory, still do damage, but they wouldn't initiate like Company of Heroes battles, right? Like the skirmishes that will happen if a company and a company come into interaction. It'll cause a skirmish. And then, of course, you have the main missions, which will be around key areas. And typically, they'll be the ones with stars, or, yeah, you can see here, or maybe secondary points that will have another display to show for secondary objectives. Point is, that's essentially where you're going to have your mainline Company of Heroes missions, right? So what they did was the detachments will include your regiments, which is under this guy. There's going to be 3 of them. My screen kind of covers it, but a better picture will be here, right? So this showcases the auto-resolve feature. This, again, like Total War, where you can have 2 companies fight, and it will just automatically play and be like, all right, this is what's going to happen. You can see here that these detachments, right, are going to be these 3 groups. So that's good. Again, I'm happy that they found a way to incorporate the smaller units, and that will be outfitting your companies. The companies itself would be the AT gun, the MG, and the engineer, where the engineer, for example, in the previous thing would clear mines, remove barbed wire, other traps or other repair bridges. They would have abilities native to that unit. AT guns, of course, would have more AT components for dealing with armor. MGs, you could lay down an enemy walked in, you could lay down fire on them, etc., etc. Here, it doesn't look like that will be the case. That will be more for the fortifications, which we can see here. There's the coastal artillery batteries. There is the MG one up here. We have artillery batteries. They'll be hammering your positions, which is fairly interesting as well. That, again, there's a lot of defenses here. And I'm kind of curious that if you attack Tamale, right, and you attacked it, let's say, with a naval invasion, I wonder if, like, the anti-air or the artillery or the naval batteries or the MG would also come into play since it's nearby. That would be an interesting feature if it was. It's like, well, he didn't destroy anything, so the Germans are just going to use the base defenses in the mission. That would be fairly fascinating. One aspect that they also cover that I found at least pretty interesting is, well, does this mean that because of this, right, that a lot of times that in the pre-alpha, and again, I'll try to show as much footage as I can, there would be ambushes. A lot of them are still going to be there from what they say. It's just going to be from fortifications and other fixed positions that the Germans will have. And I'm curious on this, for replayability factors, are the fortifications going to be changing, right? So the AI will kind of be similar. And again, my thought process goes to probably one of the best AIs in terms of like multiplayer and also just single player would be the Left 4 Dead 2 AI, which was very good at changing the difficulty and the variety of what you're facing depending on how you're doing and what you bring to the table. So I wonder if that's going to be the case here, where how you push through Italy is going to change how the AI reacts. And I hopefully that is the case. But anyway, moving on. Again, this is kind of your skirmish mission, which will be the what you bring in, what the Germans are bringing in, and the map that's currently going on. I really hope it's a better looking map than that, because by God, that's not exactly the best looking, but at least you get rewards, and the rewards that you get can help you push through the territory. Again, manpower, you get more companies. Munitions, you get artillery or airstrikes. And again, airstrikes you need from taking airfields, or naval would be getting your ships close. But again, if what the guy said, if there is going to be ships and there's naval batteries, those naval batteries could fire on your ships and tear them apart. Same thing with anti-air on your planes, and I can attest that. Anti-air shot down a lot of my recon and hurt planes that were going in for bombing runs. Now, from what he said, he did, you could also drop guys in from behind the lines, but again, that could, while disrupting German supplies and other things in the area, you could isolate them and they can end up being absolutely annihilated. One cool aspect, though, I do want to point out is the minimap, specifically, right? Because in the pre-alpha, this area, I believe, or like the far right side of Italy, was completely like blocked off. You couldn't go there. Now, they keep talking big about Monte Cassino, and that was in a previous one. My question would be, is Monte Cassino going to be the final battle? Like, that's going to be the show. From what it said, it doesn't seem like it would be the case. And in the Italian campaign, that would not be. I know a lot of people, like, end the Italian campaign at Monte Cassino and then switch over to France, but that is certainly not where the Italian campaign ended, right? It wasn't like, all right, we took Rome, we took Monte Cassino, all right, well, that's going to be it. We are in the clear. That's not the case. What actually happened was, yeah, D-Day was the big priority, but the Germans just made a new defensive line. I think it was called the Gothic Line, that the Allies then had to hit, press, got stuck on, and then took months to finally break. And I don't think it was until March or April of 45 before the Allies broke through that, overwhelmed the Germans in the area. And I think there was like 1 million, unit, or roughly like a extremely high number of German and Italian units that surrendered in in that vicinity. So I'm assuming that's where the campaign would end. Theoretically, would be breaking the last line and causing a major surrender for the German and Italian forces still fighting under the Germans in Italy. But again, I don't know. I only know they keep talking about Monte Cassino. And also, how you deal with that stuff depends on how you treat your generals and everything else. So you have the British here, and then you have the Americans, General Buckram and General Norton. I will say, at the very least, a lot of this seems to be static images. If I recall correctly, in the pre-alpha, there was the 3D models that would talk. I know there was a lot of pushback because they didn't look 100%. These kind of make it look... to be fair, I'm always going to preference 2D over 3D, or a stylized version of 3D, similar to Spider-Man Miles Morales. No, sorry, not Spider-Man. Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I just finished Miles Morales on my PS5. It was pretty good. But anyway, I personally like 2D art better. I find it has, even though it can be more simplistic, weirdly enough, I find it has more detail. And, but yeah, it looks like for a lot of these like explanation videos, it's not going to be a 3D model talking. It's going to be a 2D model talking, which I think for the code community will be a breath of fresh air. I know I know a lot more work probably went into making a 3D model talk and designing that, but I think a lot of people will simply just rather have a 2D image explaining stuff rather than a 3D like talking head. But anyway, speaking of the talking heads, each of them have their own stuff that you have to like get. You have to unlock. You have to get missions, or how you play in the missions goes over their personalities. So again, the British, the Americans have their own reasons and own like focuses they want to do in the campaign in Italy, and the more focuses you unlock for a certain commander, although they did say that if you can lock all three and have like all the abilities, but it's very difficult. and again, I really hope that's the case. I don't want it to be super simple and it's just, oh, you unlocked all 3 and just push on through. Especially with like the Italian. The Italian partisans seem to be, well, please do not destroy our homeland and we'll help you out. Or we'll give you recon or intelligence in areas that maybe your planes can't get to because of anti-air. That's cool. I like that aspect. And I like the idea of doing a balancing act. But again, there's a limit. A game I think of is that pushed my limits was Jurassic World Evolution, where you had the 3 park managers for each distinct like area, whether I think it was like, any case, whatever that was. I hated it so much because literally they would destroy your park if one of them got angry, and they were always one super angry. You could never appease all 3. And I get the idea of removing abilities, but I hope it's not something that is so undermining of the campaign. It just makes it not fun. They did mention that there was there was a German counterattack that pushes. I actually want the AI to build up and actually counterattack and push your lines. I would find it annoying, and I get it, the allies are advancing. I would find it annoying that the entire time the Germans are just staying back and you're just kind of hitting their line and they're not thinking of a way to destroy, like for example, the naval vessels out here. Like, okay, are they going to send aircraft to go bomb your ships? Are they going to actively try to harass your supply lines? I would like an aggressive, very cunning AI. And eventually, I would love it if in this strategic map that you would have allies and axes kind of starting off in the middle, and you would have one player on one player on the other, and just going back and forth. I could easily see that being a super fascinating and fun campaign. But yeah, no, that's what they pretty much covered in this. And again, I'm interested. I'm curious to see how things go, and I really want things to. I really want this to be a positive evolution of the co-formula. Again, some nitpicks I could say was, as we can see right there, performance was not the best, though this is a preview build. I understand that. As well as, again, there was some issues. Let's see. Again, they fixed the regiment system in terms of the random units going across the map you would control. Great. I still want to make sure that the companies and stuff like that are something that you, how do I put this? You can have a good variety too. So when you go into battles, it's like, all right, let's see. There's an armor company here. That would be good here. But again, the terrain maybe not be too suitable. I don't want it to be like, well, I can just build a bunch of armor companies and just roll right through the enemy. Hopefully that is not the case. But yeah, so that's a lot of the major points they covered. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. And again, this is the aspect of Code 3 I am most fascinated in because it's the newest aspect of the game. As much as I like the code missions and the will be happy for a normal single player campaign, I am most fascinated by all these types of missions. So I really hope they deliver on that. But anyway, we shall see. This has been Greyshot17. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Hello everyone, before you all go, let's give a special shout out to Patreon supporters Aphyria, Joey G240, Little Chauge, Milam, tonybee, Pyroshard, XSomeToolx, and Epic Pleb. Thank you all for your incredible support and helping me grow my channel and allowing me to keep doing what I do. So thank you. This has been Greyshot, his amazing patrons, and I'll see you all next time.